Beloved, hear me clearly this morning. This is not an ordinary moment. This is a divine appointment, a sacred pause in time where heaven leans in your direction, where every word spoken becomes a seed planted into the soil of your destiny. Your spirit is awakening, your atmosphere is shifting, and your life is aligning with the unstoppable power of Psalm 91 and Psalm 223, a declaration of protection, guidance, strength, and supernatural covering. When you rise in the morning, you step into a world full of noise, demands, and unseen battles. But today, you rise wrapped in the assurance that you dwell in the secret place of the Most High, and because you dwell there, no darkness can overtake you, no fear can imprison you, and no enemy can snatch what God has assigned to your life. The presence that watches over you neither slumbers nor sleeps. The power that shields you is unbreakable, unshakable, and unmatched. Psalm 91 becomes your spiritual armor, your declaration that you walk under the shadow of the Almighty. That means everywhere you go, the presence of God goes before you like a consuming fire. Every trap set against you is exposed. Every arrow aimed at your peace is broken. Every plot designed against your purpose collapses under the weight of divine protection. You are not walking into today uncovered. You are walking in with a heavenly escort. And Psalm 23 reminds you that you are not wandering. You are being led beside still waters, led into restoration, led through transition. Even when you walk through the valley, you do not walk alone. Even when shadows surround you, they cannot touch you. Even in uncertainty, you are guided by a shepherd who knows the path, knows the plan, and knows exactly what you need. You lack nothing, not strength, not clarity, not favor, not courage. The truth that every morning is a divine appointment becomes a powerful revelation when you understand that the moment your eyes open, something in the atmosphere shifts in your favor. It is not simply another day on the calendar. It is a sacred invitation to align your thoughts, your actions, and your intentions with heaven's blueprint for your life. Before any conversation, before any obligation, before any challenge presents itself, there is a spiritual stillness available to you, a stillness where God whispers direction, strength, and peace into the core of your being. In this sacred quiet, you receive the clarity that human effort cannot give, the confidence that circumstances cannot steal, and the courage that fear cannot compete with. Each new morning carries a divine reset, a chance to release whatever tried to weigh you down yesterday and step into the grace that has been freshly assigned to you today. When you recognize that the sunrise itself is a sign of renewal, you begin to understand that heaven wastes nothing. Even the struggles you carried, the tears you shed, and the questions that kept you awake now become stepping stones because a new day brings new mercy, and new mercy brings new strength. It is in these early moments that your spirit becomes receptive, open to hearing what your natural mind could easily overlook. This is why mornings matter. They set the stage for how you walk, how you think, and how you command the rest of your day. A divine appointment means that nothing about your morning is accidental. There is intentionality in every breath you inhale, every thought that crosses your mind, and every word you choose to speak. Heaven is not distant. It is present, leaning in, waiting for you to acknowledge that you are more than your routine, more than your responsibilities, more than the weight you silently carry. In these moments, you are reminded that you are seen, known, and guided. When you embrace this truth, you step out of bed not in weakness, but in spiritual authority, knowing that the same power that sustains creation also sustains you. As the world races around you, the morning becomes your sanctuary, a place where you can gather your strength before the demands begin pulling at you. It is here that distractions lose their grip and the clutter in your mind begins to quiet. You are not rushing, you are centering. You are not reacting, you are aligning. And in this alignment, you realize that every worry is being replaced with wisdom. Every discouragement is being overshadowed by purpose, and every uncertainty is meeting the assurance of God's promises. The more you honor these moments, the more powerfully they shape the direction of your day. When you treat the morning as a divine appointment, you no longer approach life with hesitation. Instead, you approach it with intention. You stop allowing your circumstances to dictate your posture and begin allowing your posture to dictate your circumstances. What seemed overwhelming becomes manageable. What seemed confusing becomes clear. And what seemed impossible begins to look small in the light of divine perspective. These morning encounters strengthen your inner stamina and prepare you for conversations you haven't had yet, decisions you haven't made yet, and situations you haven't walked into yet. There is a profound spiritual transaction taking place when you acknowledge the morning as holy ground. Every prayer becomes a seed. Every affirmation becomes a building block. Every moment of gratitude becomes a magnet for greater favor. Heaven responds to the heart that pauses, listens, and seeks direction. This is where strength is renewed, relationships are healed, ideas are born, and breakthroughs begin to stir beneath the surface. It may not be visible yet, but your spirit knows something is shifting, aligning, and working for your good. As you embrace the sacredness of these early hours, your awareness heightens. You begin to sense that divine appointments don't just happen to you, they happen through you. The peace you receive becomes peace you carry into your interactions. The wisdom you gain becomes wisdom you extend to others. The strength poured into you becomes strength you pour into the world around you. In this way, your morning alignment becomes a ripple effect, influencing how you speak, how you behave, and how you respond to what the day brings. With every sunrise, heaven reminds you that your story is still unfolding and your purpose is still active. Even if yesterday felt heavy or unproductive, even if last week brought challenges you didn't expect, today stands as a fresh canvas. Divine appointments bring opportunities for restoration, for renewal, for revelation. They give you the chance to see yourself not through the lens of your mistakes or limitations, but through the lens of divine intention. And in that lens, you find hope again, vision again, and strength to keep moving forward. When you rise with this mindset, you position yourself to hear instructions that sharpen your focus and elevate your decisions. You begin to notice people you are meant to bless, opportunities you are meant to pursue, and doors you are meant to walk through. What once felt ordinary becomes infused with meaning. Every task becomes part of a greater purpose. Every conversation becomes a chance to demonstrate grace. Every step becomes a movement directed by something higher than your own understanding. Your morning becomes the birthplace of transformation. It becomes the moment where you choose courage over fear, faith over doubt, peace over chaos, and purpose over distraction. You begin the day not as someone waiting to see what will unfold, but as someone actively shaping what will unfold. And in these first sacred moments, you discover that divine appointments are not something you stumble into. They are something you step into with intention, with awareness, and with a heart ready to receive. The declaration that Psalm 91 establishes supernatural protection becomes a life altering truth when you understand that this is not just poetic language, but a spiritual shield that surrounds you every moment of your life. It is the assurance that you are not navigating this world uncovered or unguarded. From the moment you wake up, there is a divine hedge placed around you, creating a barrier between you and every hidden danger, every unseen force, and every scheme designed to undermine your purpose. This protection is not passive, it is active, moving with you, responding to your steps, and covering every area of your life in ways you cannot always see but can always trust. To dwell in the secret place of the Most High is to live in the awareness that your life is tucked into the heart of God. It means you are not exposed to the world's chaos in the same way others are. You exist under a divine canopy that filters what can reach you. This covering is not seasonal or conditional. It is steadfast. It remains in moments of peace and in moments of pressure. in seasons of abundance and in seasons of uncertainty. Even when circumstances appear overwhelming, this supernatural protection reminds you that you are not standing alone, you are standing with heavenly reinforcement. The shadow of the Almighty is not a metaphor, it is a spiritual reality. A shadow only forms when something stands close, which means God's protective presence is not distant but near. You are being overshadowed by His presence in every room you enter, every decision you make, and every challenge you confront. This shadow becomes your refuge when storms arise, your strength when fear whispers, and your assurance when life feels unpredictable. It becomes the place where your worries lose power because you are hidden in something greater than anything that tries to threaten your peace. Every trap that has been secretly set against you is already seen and dismantled before you even reach it. This is the beauty of divine protection. It works ahead of you, not just around you. It clears pathways you didn't know were blocked, averts dangers you didn't know were present, and reroutes attacks before they can form into threats. There are battles you will never need to fight because protection was activated long before the enemy even conceived the plan. You move forward confidently because heaven is one step ahead of anything that could attempt to harm you. The arrows that fly by day and the terrors that move at night cannot touch you because God has assigned His angels charge over your life. They are commissioned to guard you, to lift you, and to preserve you everywhere you go. You are not protected by coincidence, but by divine command. These angelic forces surround you with vigilance, ensuring that what was meant to derail you becomes powerless. Their assignment is clear: safeguard your purpose, shield your journey, and ensure you reach every destiny point heaven has written for you. In moments when fear tries to rise, this protection stands as your reminder that fear is a lie. You don't walk into your day with anxiety about what might go wrong. You walk with confidence in the God who makes wrong turn into right, who turns danger into deliverance, and who turns threats into testimonies. The world may carry uncertainty, but you carry assurance. Psalm 91 becomes the voice that silences the noise around you and steadies the trembling places within you. This supernatural protection extends beyond the physical. It guards your mind, your emotions, and your spirit. It shields your thoughts from discouragement and your heart from heaviness. It places boundaries around your peace so negativity cannot infiltrate it. Even when situations arise that try to shake you, protection acts like a spiritual anchor, holding you steady so the waves cannot overturn you. It is the invisible force that preserves your joy, secures your clarity, and sustains your inner strength. Every morning you step into this covering with renewed authority. You do not wait to see what dangers the day might bring. You declare that you are sheltered under divine wings. This awareness changes how you move. You walk with a confidence that cannot be shaken, a peace that cannot be stolen, and a courage that cannot be broken. You begin to recognize that you are not just surviving life's challenges, you are rising above them because supernatural protection lifts you beyond what should have defeated you. Even when you face unfamiliar situations, this protection goes before you as a shield. Doors that are dangerous remain closed. Paths that are safe become clear, and opportunities that are good for you are released in perfect timing. What would harm you is blocked. What would delay you is removed. What would confuse you is exposed. Divine protection does more than cover you. It guides you, directs you, and preserves everything connected to your purpose. As you embrace this truth, you realize that Psalm 91 is not merely a scripture to read, but a reality to live in. It becomes the foundation that steadies your heart, the reassurance that strengthens your faith, and the spiritual force that empowers your steps. It creates a life where danger cannot dominate you, fear cannot manipulate you, and uncertainty cannot destabilize you. You walk each day knowing that you are shielded, supported, and surrounded by a protection that nothing in this world can penetrate. The revelation that you walk with a heavenly escort becomes a transformative truth when you realize that you never step into any environment alone. From the moment you rise, there are divine forces assigned to accompany you, surround you, and uphold you. This is not imagination or symbolism. It is a spiritual reality backed by divine authority. You are accompanied by a presence that goes before you, walks beside you, and stands behind you, ensuring that every step you take is supported by heaven's strength. This escort does not depend on your feelings, your mood, or your circumstances. It is constant, unchanging, and unwavering, moving with you whether you are aware of it or not. There are battles you never see because your heavenly escort intervenes before the first blow is ever struck. There are accidents that never reach you, threats that never find you, and plans against you that disintegrate before they even manifest. This escort is not just guarding you from what you can perceive, it is dismantling what you cannot. You are protected not only from physical harm, but from emotional attacks, spiritual traps, mental heaviness, and subtle distractions designed to pull you off course. This escort watches the path ahead, clears obstacles, and stands as an impenetrable barrier between you and anything orchestrated against your progress. When you walk through your day with this awareness, fear begins to lose its grip. You no longer anticipate the worst because you know that divine presence surrounds you. Even in unpredictable environments, even when situations shift suddenly, you do not panic because you are not walking unguarded. Your heavenly escort is vigilant, alert, and active, seeing what lies ahead and preparing you to move forward with peace instead of worry. You begin to understand that protection is not something you hope for. It is something you confidently expect because heaven is invested in your journey. This escort does more than protect, it guides. It nudges you away from danger, redirects you when paths become unclear, and positions you in places you need to be even when you don't fully understand why. You may think you reached a moment in your life by chance, but many times you were led there by unseen hands orchestrating your steps. What looked like coincidence was actually divine alignment. What looked like last minute timing was carefully planned intervention. Your escort is constantly working behind the scenes, ensuring that you arrive exactly where you need to be. There are conversations you were shielded from, people you were protected from, and opportunities you were preserved from because your escort saw what you could not. Not every closed door was a loss, many were divine protection. Not every delay was a setback, many were strategic repositioning. Your escort is not obligated to explain, but is committed to protect. And often the greatest deliverances happen in silence. Every time something didn't work out the way you imagined, it may have been your escort blocking what would have drained you, derailed you, or destroyed your peace. When pressure rises or challenges begin to surround you, this escort becomes your spiritual reinforcement. Instead of collapsing under the weight of adversity, you find unexpected strength rising within you. Instead of being overwhelmed, you feel a steadiness anchoring your thoughts and emotions. This is the work of the heavenly escort that not only shields you from harm, but also empowers you internally. You are supported from the inside out, fortified with clarity, calmness, and resilience that cannot be explained through natural reasoning. As you move through your assignments, responsibilities, and daily battles, your escort remains faithfully present. Whether you're in familiar places or unfamiliar territory, whether you're facing predictable routines or unexpected transitions, your protection does not waver. In boardrooms, in classrooms, in workplaces, in homes, in conversations, in decisions, your escort stands with you. You may be surrounded by challenges, but you are even more surrounded by divine covering, ensuring that chaos cannot consume you and darkness cannot overpower you. Your heavenly escort is also a reminder that you are never for fighting alone. When discouragement tries to settle, when doubts try to cloud your mind, When fear tries to whisper lies, this escort becomes your reassurance. It steadies your breathing, calms your heart, and reminds your spirit that you are reinforced by power greater than any storm that rises against you. The presence that walks with you refuses to let you collapse under pressure. It lifts you, carries you, and strengthens you so that you can keep moving forward. There are moments when you feel a sudden peace in the middle of anxiety or an unexpected calm during uncertainty. These moments are not emotional coincidences. They are the evidence of your heavenly escort at work. When you feel guided to pause, speak, move, or wait, these impressions are gentle signals from the divine presence that partners with you each day. Your escort is not silent. It communicates, leads, and aligns you with things that serve your purpose rather than threaten it. As you live with this awareness, you begin to move differently. You carry yourself with quiet strength, walk with inner confidence, and approach your day with unshakable assurance. You stop shrinking, stop doubting, and stop fearing the unknown because you understand that every step you take is backed by an escort from heaven. You walk through life not as someone vulnerable, but as someone covered, guided, and surrounded by divine power that cannot fail or falter. The truth that Psalm 23 reinforces your divine guidance becomes deeply personal when you understand that you are not wandering through life without direction or clarity. Every step you take is watched, measured, and led by a shepherd who knows the terrain better than you ever could. You may not always see the full path, but you are never left without guidance. In moments where your own understanding falls short, this divine leading steps in, navigating you around pitfalls, lifting you out of confusion, and steering you toward the places your soul needs to be. You are not moving aimlessly. You are moving intentionally, held within the wisdom of a God who sees the full picture. When you walk through seasons that feel unfamiliar or uncomfortable, it is easy to question whether you're going in the right direction. But Psalm 23 reminds you that the shepherd leads you beside still waters, meaning he guides you toward peace, not chaos. Even when everything around you feels loud, overwhelming, or uncertain, the guiding hand of God pulls you into stillness. This stillness is not the absence of activity. It is the presence of divine order. It is the reassurance that even in transition, you are on the right path because you are not walking alone. There are moments in life where the journey becomes difficult to interpret, times when you feel stuck between where you were and where you're going. Yet the shepherd specializes in leading you through these in between spaces. He restores your soul when it grows weary, recalibrates your focus when distractions cloud your vision, and renews your strength when the road becomes long. This guidance is not rushed. It matches your pace, knowing when you need to slow down, when you need to rise up, and when you need to keep moving, even if you don't yet understand the destination. Every valley you walk through is navigated by divine instruction. The valley is not a sign of abandonment. It is part of the guided journey. Even when shadows surround you, they cannot overtake you because the one leading you never loses sight of the exit. Shadows may intimidate, but they do not define your direction. The shepherd walks ahead, turning darkness into passageways, uncertainty into opportunity, and fear into testimony. You don't stay in the valley, you walk through it because you are led, not left. The rod and staff mentioned in Psalm 23 represent both correction and protection. Divine guidance is not always about gentle nudges. Sometimes it involves redirection, conviction, and reshaping your steps. Not every closed door is rejection. Many are divine reroutes. Not every interruption is an inconvenience. Some are protective interventions. The shepherd knows what you cannot see, and his guidance is designed not just to get you somewhere, but to get you there whole, prepared, and aligned. Even when you feel like you have lost your sense of direction, guidance continues to operate. You may feel uncertain, but God is never uncertain. You may feel unsure, but God is never unsure. He leads you through internal storms, through emotional confusion, And through moments when you question your own strength, divine guidance does not depend on your clarity, it depends on his sovereignty. You cannot lose your way when your guide never loses sight of you as you move through each day. Divine guidance becomes the unseen compass directing your choices. You avoid certain people because something within you feels unsettled. You pursue certain opportunities because peace rises within you. You walk away from certain situations because something tells you it's not aligned with your purpose. These impressions are not random. They are the whispers of your shepherd leading you into paths of righteousness that align with your destiny. The guidance of Psalm 23 also reveals that your journey is not accidental. Every season is purposeful. Every transition is intentional, and every step is directed with precision. You are being led into growth, into maturity, into deeper understanding, into stronger faith, into elevated identity. Even when you resist, the shepherd patiently guides you back into alignment, ensuring that your purpose is not compromised and your destiny is not delayed by momentary confusion. When life surprises you with twists you didn't anticipate, divine guidance becomes your stability. You may not have the full map, but you have the guide. You may not know the next chapter, but you know the author. You may not see the complete picture, but you trust the one who painted it. This becomes your quiet confidence. Your steps are not random. Your journey is not unsupported, and your future is not left to chance. As you embrace the truth of divine guidance, you begin to walk with a deeper sense of trust. You release the pressure of trying to control outcomes and instead follow the leading that assures your safety, your growth, and your progress. You stop striving to make your own way and begin allowing the shepherd to make a way for you. This shifts your entire posture. You move with peace instead of fear, clarity instead of confusion, and confidence instead of hesitation because you know that wherever you go, you are being divinely led every step of the way. The assurance that even when you walk through the valley, you do not walk alone becomes a powerful anchor. When you recognize that valleys are not signs of abandonment, but stages of transformation. Life has moments where you find yourself surrounded by uncertainty, shadows, and challenges that feel too heavy to navigate. Yet Psalm 23 reveals that the presence of God does not vanish in these moments. It becomes even more evident. The valley is not proof that something is wrong. It is proof that you are being led through a necessary passage. And while others may assume the valley is a place of defeat, you discover it is the place where divine companionship becomes most real, most tangible, and most comforting. In the valley, your strength is tested, your faith is stretched, and your endurance is refined. But you are not required to walk through it in your own power. The presence of God walks with you step by step, ensuring that no darkness overwhelms you. Even when your emotions are scattered and your mind is racing, the divine presence remains steady. You may not feel strong, but you are accompanied by strength. You may not have the answers, but you are walking with wisdom. You may not know when the valley will end, but the one guiding you knows the exact exit point. Valleys have a way of amplifying fear, whispering lies, and magnifying threats. But divine presence becomes the voice that silences every intimidating echo. What looks like danger loses its authority because you are surrounded by glory that cannot be overtaken. The shadows may loom large, but they cannot touch you. The obstacles may seem overwhelming, but they cannot break you. The uncertainty may feel unsettling, but it cannot destabilize the one who holds your hand as you move forward. The valley cannot claim you because you are not walking alone. When the path grows narrow or unfamiliar, the presence of God becomes your assurance. You may not always see the next step clearly, but you can sense the guidance leading you forward. Even when the way ahead is dim, the shepherd walks ahead of you, turning what seems threatening into a pathway of purpose. The valley is not a dead end, it is a transition point. It is the corridor between where you were and where you are going, and while you pass through it, You are accompanied by a presence that protects you from what could have destroyed you. In the valley, the comfort of the rod and the staff becomes more than symbolic. These tools represent the discipline, direction, and defense that keep you secure even when shadows create false images of danger. The rod pushes back what tries to harm you, and the staff pulls you back when you drift. You are never left to fend for yourself, never abandoned to guess your way through the dark. Every step you take is monitored, supported, and surrounded by divine care that refuses to let you slip into defeat. The valley becomes bearable because presence becomes undeniable. There are moments in the valley where you may feel isolated, where the silence feels heavy, and where the journey feels lonely, but divine presence breaks through that emotional fog. You may not hear a thunderous voice or feel dramatic signs, but you sense a quiet assurance reminding you that you are not forgotten. Even in your lowest moments, your most fragile seasons, and your deepest struggles, you are never out of reach. The shepherd walks closely, matching your pace, ensuring that you are carried when you cannot walk, guided when you cannot see, and strengthened when you cannot stand on your own. Valleys often feel like places where you lose your footing, your direction, or your hope, but they become places where you discover a strength you did not know you had, not because you are strong by your own merit, but because divine presence reinforces you. You find yourself making it through situations that should have broken you, surviving seasons that should have crushed you, and rising from circumstances that once felt impossible. You walk through the valley not as a victim, but as someone upheld by supernatural strength. The valley is also where God prepares you for elevation. It is often in these low places that distraction is removed, noise is silenced, and your heart becomes more receptive to the voice of guidance. You learn to trust not what you see, but who is with you. You learn that protection is not found in circumstances, but in divine companionship. You realize that the valley is not meant to imprison you. It is meant to mature you, sharpen your discernment, and deepen your faith in the one who leads you forward. Every tear you cry in the valley becomes a seed for the strength you will carry afterward. Every moment of confusion becomes the foundation for clarity. Every challenge shapes you, molds you, and prepares you for what is waiting on the other side. And throughout the entire process, you are never walking alone. The same presence that stands with you on mountaintops stands with you even closer in the valley. The place others fear becomes the place you grow because you are guided through it by a shepherd who never leaves your side. As you move through the valley, you begin to realize that no matter how intimidating the surroundings may feel, no matter how heavy the shadows may look, no matter how uncertain the path may seem, divine presence remains the constant factor that ensures your victory. The valley may challenge you, but it cannot conquer you. It may slow you, but it cannot stop you. You walk through it with a steady assurance that you are accompanied, protected, and guided every step of the way.